So, what's the first secret? Well, have you ever started to practice slap bass, but then found your hands quickly got sore, your joints started to ache, and perhaps some of your muscles even got quite stiff, and this forced you to stop practicing? Getting signs from your body like muscle pain, stiffness, soreness are all signs that you're making this one common mistake that makes slap bass much harder work for you than it really needs to be. It's a little bit trying to open a door, not by using the handle like normal, but by having to jump up and press an entry button that's located above the door. This creates completely unnecessary hard work, and if you want to avoid this mistake, here's what you need to do. Stand upright, then place your bass on your shoulder using your strap. What a lot of bass players do now is that they place their bass either too high or too low. A bass that is set too high or too low creates so much extra work for the body when you're trying to play slap. So bring your bass up to your midsection where you can keep your hands and arms in a natural posture. Then tilt the bass neck up 45 degrees. This is secret number one, setting your bass to the correct height. And doing this will ensure your body is nice and relaxed when you play, and it will remove all the unnecessary work from playing slap. Now this is a great start, but what about the actual technique itself? Knowing what to do with our hands is still really difficult, right? Well, it doesn't have to be, because the second secret I'm about to show you is going to make slap bass 10 times easier to play. Have you ever found that when you play slap, you hit so many strings that you don't mean to? Sometimes even if you're playing a really simple, easy groove, or perhaps a groove that you're really familiar with, you keep hitting multiple strings by mistake. It's so discouraging, and it just makes you feel like you're never going to get there with slap bass. But the good news is, there's one simple thing you can do that will fix this problem. So what's the problem? Well, this is actually a concept that I taught in my slap bass workshop. There's a link in the description down below if you want to check it out. So if you want to avoid this mistake and transform your slap technique into something that's really clean and really easy to do, here's what you need to do. Drop your hands down by your sides and let them relax completely. Then raise your slapping hand up like this so that the fingers curve a little naturally and the thumb sticks out like this. Then turn that hand position inward so that the thumb runs parallel to the lower strings and your fingers remain curved facing across the higher strings. This is secret number two, the parallel thumb hand position. The parallel thumb hand position ensures that this bony part of your thumb is the only part of the thumb that contacts the strings when you perform a slap stroke. This is a huge upgrade on this hand position, in which you see a much larger area of the thumb going across all the strings, resulting in strings being slapped by accident and a really unclean technique. However, now there's a new problem. Now that you've got your bass set to the correct height and you know the right hand position for slap bass, how do you actually perform slap and pop strokes? Well, when you've learned slap before, has it ever felt like your fingers just won't do what you want them to? Maybe they're not strong enough, they can't move quickly enough, or maybe you've never completely understood exactly how you're supposed to use them when you play slap. Without this knowledge, trying to develop any kind of fluency or speed in your slap technique is nearly impossible. All of this makes watching someone who can play slap unbelievably frustrating, because it starts to feel like you're watching a magician do a card trick and then driving yourself completely insane trying to figure out how the trick is done. But funnily enough, this comparison between slap bass and a magic trick isn't far off the truth. Because slap bass has got such a strong visual component to the technique, most bass players make the mistake of thinking that it's all about what you do with your fingers. They try to perform pop strokes by just pulling their fingers up like this. They try to perform slap strokes by just moving their thumb a little bit like this, or just flicking their wrist like that. And as a result, most of them end up with either bad technique or much worse, a really bad playing injury. So here's what you should do instead. Take your slapping arm and then hold it out in front of you like this. Then you want to rotate the entire forearm as if you were turning a door handle. As you do this, you'll notice that it's not just your fingers or your wrist that's moving, it's your entire forearm. Simply rotate your arm in towards the bass to perform a slap stroke, and then outwards to perform a pop stroke. And if we generate those movements from the elbow using the elbow and forearm rotation, we can perform these two strokes with a lot more power, a lot more speed, all whilst keeping our technique a lot cleaner. This is secret number three. However, there's still one problem left. In order to get the most out of these slap bass secrets I've just taught you, you need to know how to practice them effectively. So click this video up here to check out 3 slap bass practice hacks which saved me months of practice.